Brother, when you dedicate your life to others, one day you might feel lost. Because sometimes we think that saying no makes us a bad person. But the truth is, when you start neglecting yourself while helping others, you're not really helping anyone at all. The fear of hurting someone can turn you into a burned-out person. What I'm about to share with you is a roadmap to living a stronger, healthier, and more balanced life. Instead of shaping your life around the demands of others, you need to learn your limits and respect your own life. So let me ask you this. How can you truly help others if you can't help yourself first? 1. The thin line between being a good person and losing yourself. Look, brother, everyone can see the kindness in you, but don't forget, being kind doesn't mean losing yourself. Saying yes to everything doesn't make you a better person. It just leaves you emotionally drained. At some point, you need to realize that if you're losing yourself while helping others, you're not actually helping anyone. Every time you say yes when you really mean no, you're taking a step further away from yourself. Imagine a friend constantly asking for your help, but you also have your own responsibilities. While you want to support them, you also have your own life. If you always say yes, pushing aside your own needs, that help becomes a burden. And when it becomes a burden, can you really be of help to anyone? You need to find yourself so you can truly give to others. 2. When you say no, you respect yourself. You might be thinking right now, yeah, saying no is hard. But saying no is actually a sign of self-respect. Don't be afraid of disappointing people. Living according to everyone else's expectations diminishes your value. Protecting your boundaries is a way of showing respect, not just to yourself, but also to those around you. Say you're exhausted, but a family member keeps asking you to do something for them. If you keep saying yes despite being drained, eventually, you lose sight of your own needs. But when you finally set a limit and say no, you're actually giving something even more valuable: honesty and authenticity. Maybe they'll be hurt at first, but in time, they'll understand and respect you more for it. 3. Setting boundaries is not a weakness. A lot of people think setting boundaries is a sign of weakness, but it's the opposite. Setting boundaries is a powerful act. It's not about building walls between people. It's about building healthy relationships. Saying no doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. You have a friend who constantly calls you for advice. At first, you're happy to help. But over time, you realize that the relationship feels one-sided. You're always giving, always sacrificing. At that point, setting a boundary protects you. Saying, "I don't have time today," is actually a more meaningful way to help, because it preserves your energy. That friend will start respecting you more because they see you're not just available. Yo vir one spree. 4. Constantly limiting yourself shrinks your world. If you keep saying yes to everyone, your world slowly starts to shrink. When you shape your life around others' desires, your own dreams and goals fall into the background. You must make time for yourself. Boundaries don't confine you, they free you. A friend keeps inviting you out every weekend. At first, you go along. But after a while, you realize you've stopped working on your own goals. You have no time left for your personal projects, or even just rest. That's when you realize that saying no helps you grow. It gives you the space to breathe, to focus, to become who you're meant to be. 5. The true way to help others is without losing your own peace. To find balance in life, you must first be kind to yourself. Helping others is a beautiful thing, but not at the expense of your own well-being. If you ignore your own needs, all you'll be able to offer others is your exhaustion. Your family keeps asking for help, but you're going through a tough time. If you keep saying yes, you only make things worse for yourself. But if one day you decide to set boundaries and take a step back to rest, that's the biggest favor you can do, both for them and for yourself. Saying no in that moment helps you recharge. And once you're strong again, you can help others with real strength. 6. Living with expectations is a silent exhaustion. Sometimes when you help someone, you think, I did this for them, so they'll help me one day. But helping with that kind of mindset slowly wears you down. Every yes you say builds an invisible expectation in your heart. And when that expectation isn't met, you start to feel bitter, disappointed. That's why saying no is also about freeing yourself from unhealthy expectations. You lend money to a friend. One day, when you're in need, they're nowhere to be found. That's when it hits you. Setting boundaries is not just about money. It protects your emotional energy too. Say no when you need to. It will protect your peace. 7. You need boundaries to stay true to your own word. As people get to know you, they begin to form expectations around who you are. When they start saying, "He never says no," they begin to take control of your time, your energy, your choices. And the moment you start contradicting your own words, you start losing connection with your inner voice. That's why boundaries are how you stay loyal to yourself. You tell a friend, "I'm super busy this week. I can't make it." But they insist, and you give in. You go anyway. In that moment, you've broken your own word. It may seem small, but it chips away at your strength. When you stick to your boundaries, you stay true to your character, and no one can easily bend a person who is true to themselves. 8. Staying silent doesn't mean approval. It can be a form of boundaries. Sometimes you distance yourself from certain people quietly. No anger, no harsh words, just silence. That too is a boundary. You don't always have to loudly say no. Sometimes stepping back, staying silent, walking away. That's also a way of saying, "This isn't for me." You're in a WhatsApp group where people keep mocking you, making snide remarks. You stop responding, and eventually, you stop participating altogether. That silence is not weakness. It's a quiet way of saying, "I don't deserve this." You don't have to fight with everyone, but you also don't have to walk beside everyone. Learn to choose wisely. 9. Not every act of help is real. Help constantly helping someone can sometimes prevent them from standing on their own. You mean well, but without realizing it, you may be weakening them. Sometimes the greatest help is not helping, letting them struggle so they can grow. Your sibling keeps asking you for money every week. At first, you give it, but eventually you realize they've stopped trying. They're not working hard anymore because they know you'll always step in. That's when you say no. And that no turns them back toward their own strength. Let them struggle a bit. It's how they'll discover their true power. 10. Loving yourself is the greatest gift you can give others. Brother, never forget. Without loving yourself, you can't truly love anyone else. If you don't care for yourself, you won't have the energy or heart to care for others. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's how you keep love in balance. Don't lose yourself, but don't ignore others either. Love flows best when it starts from within. You cancel your rest time to take on someone else's problems. After a while, you feel empty. And when you're empty, you can't give love, because there's nothing left to give. But if you protect your time and energy, you'll feel valued. And when you feel valuable, your love becomes real, authentic, powerful. In conclusion, brother, saying no isn't easy, especially for someone with a good heart. But sometimes the greatest kindness lies in the word no. Because setting boundaries means protecting yourself, knowing your worth, and walking your own path. Some may be hurt when you say no, but those who truly love you will understand. Because when you draw boundaries, the people who remain are the ones who see your true self. And most importantly, you begin to see yourself. The value you give to yourself sets the tone for how others value you. So never forget, the word no may be small, but it carries immense freedom. Don't be afraid to use it. Because sometimes saying no to others is how you finally say yes to yourself.